Hello, you guys. Welcome to a new unit. This one is going to be all about religions around the world. We're going to be looking at the five main religions, main as in the five largest religions that are found on the earth right now. Just going to walk you through a real quick little bit of an introduction right now for you to watch, and there will be a sheet that you will be filling out along with it. So normally I set up some like kind of ground rules about how we'll talk about religion. Since this is an online class, this doesn't pertain to you guys quite as much because we're not going to be doing big group discussions. But I will say this third one is a good one. Show an interest. So whether or not you are personally religious, you're going to be learning about beliefs that people who think differently than you have. It's my belief that the more we know about people who believe differently than us, the more we can kind of understand each other. And I feel deeper levels of understanding just kind of make the world a better place. Each year, I always have a couple students be like, wait, you can't teach about religion in public schools. And they're like, that's illegal. And my answer to that is like, no, it's not. It all depends on how you approach it. If you have a teacher in a public school who is saying like, this religion's the best, you should believe this one, that is highly illegal. But in public schools, you can just teach about the differences between them, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing. So during this unit, we're going to be looking at what the five main religions, what their main beliefs are, where you find most people that follow those religions. We're going to learn a little bit about the history of the religions, so like how it started, who started it, and where, stuff like that. Yeah, it's an interesting unit. I very much enjoy it. So I'm going to have you guys take about 5 to 10, it should only take you 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm going to have you fill out the religion what do you know sheet. And you will be turning that in. It's just kind of for me to see what you already know about religion. And if you don't know much, that's fine. You can put that down. But do your best to answer the questions on it. Let me see. What else do I want to talk about real quick? Skip that, skip that. All right, so a quick history of religion. Our species has been around for roughly about 200,000 years, we believe. That's what our best fossil evidence shows us. So it's a question of how long have humans had religion? And frankly, we don't have a time machine, so we can't go back and interview humans 150, 200,000 years ago, but we can look at some of the evidence that they left behind. And one of the main pieces of evidence we look at is cave art. When you paint inside a cave, it normally is preserved for a long time because it's sheltered from the elements. That means archaeologists in 2022 can find it and learn a little bit about it. Looking at this evidence, we can find pieces of art that we think show us some kind of spiritual beliefs. But again, like we can only do our best at making educated guesses. So we think that religion has been around as a part of human culture for a very long time. So now imagine if you were a human walking around 50,000 years ago, all right? What would you experience if all of a sudden an earthquake hit? The solid ground beneath you starts just violently shaking. You would be scared out of your mind and you would have no idea what was happening. Now imagine the same thing but with a lightning bolt or a hurricane or an eclipse or a meteor shooting through the sky. These are all things that you would have no explanation for whatsoever. So we think religion, early religions, maybe popped up as a way for people to kind of explain the things that they didn't understand at the time. Especially those big forces of nature like droughts and floods and earthquakes, stuff like that. Throughout history, different religions have kind of had their rise and fall. So here, this is Anubis. He is the god of the underworld in ancient Egypt. So this religion, not really practiced anymore. Right here, we got Thor. I think a lot of you think of the Avengers when you think of Thor, but Thor was an old Norse god, along with Odin and Loki. They're really, really fun stories. But it was a religion for Norse people, like people with Norwegian and Swedish ancestry. But today, it's not really a religion anymore, followed by many people. Here we got Zeus, since he's holding a lightning bolt up here. That was an ancient Greek god, along with Hercules and Athena and a bunch of others. Here we got the Aztec and Incan religions. They were around in kind of Central and South America, and North America, excuse me. And those religions kind of fell away as those civilizations collapsed after Europeans arrived into the New World. So religions throughout history they'll kind of rise up, they'll have their heyday, and then oftentimes they will fall away. And that's just kind of how history has guided us through this. This unit, we are going to be looking at the 5 largest religions on the planet. We're going to be looking at Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and Buddhism. It's a pretty short unit. It's only going to take us 2, maybe 3 weeks. And then after that, we'll have a unit on human culture.